What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We're going to actually change it up a little bit today. We're not going to work on the Lightning. We are going to work on the Cayenne. So I'm having a little bit of an issue here for, I wouldn't say quite some time, but I've had a little bit of a leak in the left rear air suspension on these. So it is a turbo, it has PDCC, and it does have air. So I know a lot of people say, well, you know, air sucks because it leaks. This thing has 153,000 miles on it, and this is the first time that it's actually giving me an issue. So we're going to dive into it, see what's going on. I had previously ordered Bilstein left rear air strut to completely replace the factory one. Now, the bad part was the right rear was on back order indefinitely. So I had no idea what the ETA was. And when I inquired with Summit Racing yesterday, like, oh, but they pushed it back another month. So that would have been the end of April. And I'm like, I can't keep driving the Cayenne around like this because the compressor's running constantly or just more than normal, and it's gonna kill the compressor too. So I'm gonna take off the fender liner, we're gonna spray around, see where it's leaking. It may be just an O-ring at the top hat, which appears to be common, or a fitting somewhere. I'm hoping it's one of those instead of having to order some off-brand, which I don't know what it's gonna be like. And we're gonna see what we have here. I've never really spoken much about the Cayenne, but it is on a 2-inch Eurolift with a 1/2-inch subframe drop. And we got Falcon Wild Peak AT3s with some 20-inch OZ wheels. It's nice, it's simple, it's great. I went through the tires that were on here when I bought it in 9,000 miles, just because how heavy it was, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. I mean, I drove it like a 911, so don't get me wrong, it's fun to drive, but I think I like these meats better. It rides nicely, especially with the air, so that's why I want to keep the air and I want to fix it. So we're going to dive into it here. It's either T20 or T25. I only have a T20. It does fit, so just verify that if it's snug or not. It is a little bit loose, but I take my time with it. I guess it's the only one I got, so we're gonna work with it. And we gotta take this fender liner off to get to the top of the shock. Got all the torque screws out, but there were these up here, one on each side, and one turn and they snapped off, as you can tell. Little corrosive there, and they just snapped. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, but then there's plenty of torque screws around the whole thing where I don't have to really worry about those. And there it goes. The fender liners on German cars, I gotta say, are very like firm and thick. So you need to play with it a little bit to get it out. I just needed to really wiggle it, but there were some screws that I forgot. There was one down here, and then there were two over here, one on the side and one down below to get the trim piece loose, and then you're able to pull it out from underneath here and yank it out. So let's see if we can get to the top hat and spray some soapy water up there and see if we have any leaks. Well, looks like the inevitable has to happen. The whole air strut has to come out. I was hoping to try to just see if there was a leak all the way in the top there, but even from the top I can't spray anything down to see that. So I guess on jack stands we are, and we're going to have to remove this bad boy to figure out what's going on here, unfortunately. Now we're gonna loosen these two up here, and then there's two more over here so we can drop the strut tower out from the bottom. So I was able to get it dropped down. It was just the 4 bolts up top, and then this air line here is a 12 millimeter. I'm working on loosening that now. And then we should be able to drop the entire thing down. The only thing I saw was that this dust cover up here was loose, and this fitting, which I'm not sure what it is, because again, this is all new to me. So you guys are learning and I'm learning. I'm gonna figure out what's under here. And I think the O-ring that is known to leak is under this. So we're gonna figure that out once I drop this entire strut down. The strut tower is finally out. What a pain in the ass, dude. But I had to loosen and slightly remove the lower control arm to get to it, and then after that I was able to come out. But I also broke a sensor while pulling it out, so I'm gonna have to replace that. I think if I replace the entire strut itself, it does come with a new one, but I'm gonna have to check and see how much a new sensor costs. So let's try to dig into this. Looks like we found the leak. Dang, look at that. No wonder this side was screwed. Wow. It's kind of nice that I actually dug into this, because the link that I have in my hand right here, that was connected to the sway bar, pretty much slid off with almost no force. So this thing is shot. Yeah. And this is also what screwed up my shock tower bolt. As you can tell here, actually destroyed. So I have to replace that. And yeah, look at that. Holy cow. So it looks like we're gonna have some digging to do, gents. We're gonna get some Cayenne and some lightning content on the channel now. Wow. Well, we definitely made some progress today. I've been dealing with this air strut tower for quite some time, and it was slowly leaking, but you can see that the air was just bubbling up like crazy. I couldn't believe how much it went down. It's nuts. So we're gonna get that fixed in the next video. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and then we're also gonna replace this link, because this is absolutely terrible. Yeah, it slid right off the sway bar. Nuts. So I'm thinking my other side's probably gonna be just like that, so I'm gonna have to look into that. Well, folks, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy the Cayenne Turbo content, kind of throw a twist in with the Lightning 2J content. In the next video, hopefully I'm gonna go over how to rebuild that air strut, because it's been giving me issues for almost a year, but it's gotten really bad this winter. So I'm gonna do some research and kind of figure out how to go about it. But this is my first time working on the Cayenne Turbo, so I'm learning and you're learning. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.